Hello again. Right, well yesterday we stripped all the polish from these shoes and we've left them to dry out overnight, and you can see the difference, the flat matte finish of the actual leather with just a dye on it. Now first thing we're going to do is put the shoe trees in, because that helps them to retain the shape. It does make it a little bit easier to deal with the actual shoe. So there you can see already how that looks better. Now the other thing I said that we would do is to attend to these soles. You don't need to do too much to them because you're going to walk on them and they will end up like this again, but it helps. And I use kiwi for this. I used to use kiwi for everything, but then I discovered sapphire, and that's my go-to polish now. Again, I'll say sapphire or kiwi are not paying me anything at all. I'm not receiving anything for doing this, so it's just what I've found to be the best. So basically just a brush in the polish and we rub it in. Just the leather part of the sole, there's no need to do the waist here or the heel top piece. And we let that soak in. Do the other one. And you can see already the difference that that's made. We'll give it another go. We don't really need to do anything else to that for a while. I'll buff it up when it's had a chance to soak in and dry a bit. But now we get to attend to the uppers. And what I use is this, it's called Renovateur Sapphire product, and it's basically lanolin from sheep's coats with a few other ingredients included, and you don't need very much of this, and you can put it on with your hands. Just dip your fingers in, dot it across and around all over the shoe. It goes a long way, but these shoes are quite dry now, so, and then all we do is just rub it in and you'll see a massive difference. And I always comment when I'm doing this, the smell of this stuff is gorgeous. Unlike the astringent nature of the Reno mat that I was using yesterday, which makes me cough a bit, this doesn't. It's absolutely beautiful stuff to work with. And you rub it all in like that. And not forgetting the tongue, because it replenishes the moisture content in the leather, and as I said yesterday, it plumps up the fibres, makes it all much nicer. There you go, we'll just leave that to soak in for a minute and do the same on this one. Look at the difference. You see the difference between the two toe caps there. There are people who say I'm using too much of this, but it really doesn't matter because the thing will soak it up anyway. And you just rub it in like that. We were talking yesterday about the different reasons for polishing shoes, and I think we went through hygiene, cleanliness, thrift, comfort, meditation, satisfaction, presence, quite a lot of different reasons there. Here's another one: education. You can learn an awful lot while you're doing a thing like this, if only just about the different components of a shoe. For example, let me show you. It's made up of, this one's made up of several pieces of leather. You do get some that are called whole cut, and I've got a pair of those. I'll show you at a different time. That are cut, the whole thing is cut from one piece of leather, but this isn't. So what we've got here is the toe cap, the heel cap, sometimes called a stiffener. This bit in the middle is called the vamp. That's flexible, so that when you're walking, it bends and gives flexibility. This is called the face. This bit in here, I know this is the tongue, but this is the throat. So that's the throat line at the bottom. The holes are called eyelets. These two pieces are called the quarters. And then around the top there we've got the top line, and then underneath this is the waist. This is, although it's on the bottom, it's called the top piece. That's the outermost part of the heel. Inside there's another part, the inner heel. We've got an outer sole, there is a midsole, and then inside of it there's an insole. Underneath the waist, just here, there's a thin piece of metal or plastic. It's usually metal, and that's called the shank. So you get extra strength. The shoe doesn't drop to pieces quite so easily when you're walking on it. These little holes, that's called broguing. I don't know if you've ever seen a film called Kingsman, and they talk about Oxfords, not brogues. And Oxfords are like this, except they've got no broguing at all. It's a bit of snobbery, really. Broguing, or poking holes in your shoes, was done for a reason. Hundreds of years ago, in this country, there was a lot of marshland. If you lived in the country, or you had to go anywhere from one town to another, your shoes would get wet. And the broguing was to allow the water to run out of the shoe, so it didn't remain and rot the leather and rot your feet. So that's what broguing originally was for. So now, if your shoemaker says to you, would you like Oxfords or brogues, sir? You say, brogues? Are you trying to imply that I'm some kind of bog trotter, sir? But that's what broguing's all about anyway. So we've given these a coat of the renovateur, and we'll just brush it in, just with a soft brush. Helps just to dry it off a little bit. Don't need to be too vigorous with it. And you could leave your shoe just like that. I mean, it's been renovated. If the leather has been treated, you've taken all the old polish off and brushed it in. And for some people, that would do. That would be enough. Shoes are clean. They might not be shiny, but you've cleaned them. You'd get thrown off any parade ground in the army, but we won't leave them like that. We will go on. And what we'll do today only is we'll give them another coat of renovateur. It's all about time, and what you should do is give this, the treatment, and any treatment, give it time to dry out, give it time to soak in. And so when we finish this coat, we'll be leaving them again overnight to dry, and you will see the difference in the morning when I come back and we take the next step. But for now, a second coat of renovateur is all we really need. If you were able to smell this, you'd appreciate it. It's a unique fragrance, all of its own, but not unpleasant. Yes, I know I didn't do the tongue, did I? I'm doing it now. Okay, we'll give that a brush. It's a little bit duller now because obviously it's wetter, the moisture hasn't had a chance to penetrate the leather, the surface of the leather yet, but it will. And they can be dangerous. When you first go outside, it's always a good idea just to scuff them a little bit on the path when you step outside, otherwise it's all too easy to end up on your bottom. And there you go. For now, that's the leather treated. Next stage tomorrow, and I'll show you what that will be tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. See you then. Bye bye.